All right, Brandon, we're live.
Yo, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Rocket REI Live podcast. I'm your host, Michael McDonald. In 2019, at 26 years old, I decided to quit my full-time corporate job to pursue real estate investing full-time, and I have never looked back. I'm on a mission to inspire, inform anyone young and old wanting to get out of the rat race by bringing on power players in the real estate space. I'm so excited for today's live podcast. I'm joined by today's guest, Brandon Lopez. Brandon is a 21-year-old full-time real estate entrepreneur based out of Omaha, Nebraska. And Brandon owns Turbo Home Buyers, and his team currently has 4 deals in escrow pending $43,500 in projected revenue. Brandon, thanks for coming on, man.
No, man, thank you for having me here, man. It's an honor. This something was a dream to reality now. Became reality, right?
Oh, for sure, man. Absolutely. So for those of you who don't already know you, who are you and how did you get started in real estate?
Right. Well, my name is Brandon Lopez. I'm a 21-year-old wholesaler from Omaha, Nebraska. I've been wholesaling now for a little over a year now. And as far as my journey, man, it all became with the class in college. I took a financial literacy class, talked about money management, budget, things like that. And then talked briefly about real estate. Kind of caught my eye, like it really caught my eye, and I started kind of deep diving. So happens a week later, there was a seminar, those where they try to get you with those big deals, right? I went to the free one, paid $200 for the 3-day event, and they usually try to get me to spend 30K on courses and things like that. And I think if I would have had the money, I would have, but I didn't. So I just kind of asked around, like, how can I 18? I think I was 18 at the time, about to be 19. How can I make money in real estate without having lots of money? And everybody just kept saying wholesaling. And then I went home and just completely became obsessed with wholesaling, man. I deep dove it, man, and researched, and for about a month, and kind of get a general concept of what wholesaling was. But before I took the leap of faith, I decided to reach out to somebody who's already been in the trenches, and that somebody was Michael McDonald. I reached out to a couple people, man, for the Facebook pages, but nobody hit me up. Nobody got back to me. Michael's actually the only person that did and decided to meet me, and it was just up from there. Now we've done a handful of deals since meeting up, man. And I appreciate that, Michael. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. It's incredible, and it's been my honor and pleasure to kind of help you on your journey. And man, not a lot of people even take the action to reach out. So kudos to you for reaching out to me in the first place.
Thank you, man.
And I didn't do anything. I just showed you the way, and you took the action to get there. So
right.
Good job. All right. So as you know, this is a real estate business. It's not rainbows and unicorns like everyone talks about, or is it? Like how long did it take you to get your first deal here?
Man, it took me 7 months, man, to get my first deal. So it's 7 months, man, of straight rejection, no's, and getting kicked in the face and throwing dirt, on me. And I just stuck with it, pushed through, and eventually happened, man. So it went from a myth to a belief that, you know what, I can't do this.
That's incredible.
I've been through so much, I can't stop now, right?
100%. And you know what? It took me, not a lot of people realize this, but it took me 6 months to get my first deal.
Wow.
And it's a grind. So I knew that when you reached out to me, you were the mentality that was like, hey, I'm not going to quit, because if I don't quit, I'm not going to fail. So
right, for sure.
Amazing. So yeah, obviously there's a lot of trials and tribulations. So how are you able to overcome all of the limiting beliefs and the rejections to get to your first deal? Because there's probably a lot of naysayers out there.
Yeah, without a doubt, man. And I think that was one of my biggest struggles in the beginning, was all the naysayers, all the voices. Because obviously when you learn something new, you want to tell everybody, right? You want to let everybody know what you're doing. And I did that. I told everybody what I was doing, but unfortunately, a lot of people have open minds and kind of just bring you down. It doesn't work. It's a scam, yada, yada, yada. And that messed with my head, man. Like, I was like, man, do I really want to do this? But I don't know, something inside me was like, just keep doing it. Just do it no matter what people say. And honestly, having a big why really will, having my whys will really keep me moving forward and to achieve my first deal and be where I am today.
That's amazing, man. So what you're saying is the why is kind of what helped push you forward?
Yeah, without a doubt, for sure, my why, man. Like, I don't think if it wasn't without it, just having I think goals in general, having a big overall a vision is what you need. You need it to keep moving forward. If not, then what's the point of waking up every day, right?
Oh, for sure. And just because you said it, I got to show the audience. It's so key. You know, people reach out to me, you know, quite often and ask for, hey, what books, what advice would you give me to get started in real estate? And the answer that I have for a lot of people is like, you got to focus on your self-development. I think self-development is a major part of any business, any entrepreneur's journey. And so I always tell people to like dive into that, get your mind right, and get on the right track there, because that's going to help you push through all of those objections to succeed.
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the biggest things self-development was for me was reading the book Rhinoceros Success. That was one of the first books I read that really helped me get my by Scott Alexander. As far as like developing that tough rhino skin and just keep plowing forward no matter what, you know, what happens. And that was key. It was one of my key factors for my success as well.
Love it, man. All right, so how, in particular, how were you able to overcome all of those limiting beliefs and rejections? You alluded to the why, but like aside from that, like you're probably out there making offers and failing forward, but like how did you keep pushing forward?
Good question. Because it's tough, man. Like I think about it, it like gives me like goosebumps because it was hard, man. Like it wasn't easy, but it wasn't impossible. It was really uncomfortable at first. But I think, you know, just surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals, man, you know, kind of not necessarily cutting off people who, you know, who aren't doing what you're doing, but just kind of like, I mean, you know, having your balance of who, you know, what do you want to be in life? Who do you want to surround yourself with, as opposed to, you know, people who are not on your path, right? And I think that's what really will help me out, like meeting people like yourself, you know, and the other handful of friends I met throughout the way was what really helped me keep moving forward and just inspire me, motivated me to keep going after it. Because if I didn't have those people, I don't think it would. I think it would have taken me like a year probably to get my first deal, to be honest.
So just surrounding yourself with like-minded people.
Yeah, and just I think that was my biggest thing, because and then I guess I had no other option. You know, I was so obsessed with it. I was like, I don't care. Like I'm gonna make it no matter what. No, I don't care how long it takes me. Like I was like so like tunnel vision on what I wanted to do that I just was like, this is it for me, man. Like after I got my first deal, I was like, there's no turning back. I gotta keep moving forward.
That's incredible. Kind of put your back against the wall, and you gave yourself no option. So
yeah,
for somebody out there right now who, you know, maybe just getting started and maybe analysis paralysis, just kind of consuming content, maybe not getting out there and taking action, like what advice would you tell them for somebody like that to kind of get out there and just overcome some of those fears and the rejections that people may be facing?
Yeah, I think the main thing is just doing it, man. Like because you're gonna be scared along the way no matter what. But like just getting your foot out the door is gonna be the hardest thing. But once it's out there, dude, it's a walk in the park, I guess. But just, you know, really believing in yourself and just taking that leap of faith and truly get to truly believe in what you're doing for it to even work. If you don't believe in it, if you're even questioning yourself, like, why am I doing this? Then don't even do it.
Yeah.
Don't even do it. But if you truly believe in yourself and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna make this work. I don't know how, but I'm gonna do it. You'll be all right. People will be all right. And asking for help too, man, like was a big thing for me too. Like not being scared to ask for help, which is what I did with you, you know, reaching out like, hey, because I almost went into the analysis paralysis. You know, I was deep diving for like 30 days, and I was like, you know what, it's time, bro. Like I was feeling weird, like I'm not doing anything. I'm learning. I don't like being those guys that want to know it all. I like to be the ones who are doing the work, you know, who are actually doing it. And reached out to you and started doing it, man. And then I was like, man, so this is it, huh? this is what it consists of, just getting told no over and over again.
Exactly. So the process is simple, right? It's very straightforward, but it's not easy because it takes a lot of moving parts and steps to get there. So your niche, you know, you're wholesaling, right? So for people who don't really know what that means, like most people probably do, but what exactly does that mean? What is a wholesale in real estate?
Wholesale is pretty much, you know, just the art of getting a property on a contract for a discount, and then just finding an end buyer and selling it for, you know, for $5 grand, 10 grand more. That's pretty much all it is, really. Like it's just as simple as I can think of it to make it so people don't get freaked out, right?
But hold on a second. The market's hot. Like, how are you finding discounted properties? Like, there's no deals out there, are there?
Oh yeah, no, there isn't. I just consistency, man. Like just keep just reaching out to people multiple different ways, making sure you can get in front of somebody as much as possible in different ways, and to us, we hit a lead until we get an F off, sold, or it becomes a lead. So we just keep moving forward, like until like we call a person over and over and over and over again until they tell us F off, sold, until we get it under contract. That's really all that is. You just got to keep finding people and reaching out at the right time, because you never know when somebody's gonna say yes, I want to sell.
100%. So, what are some of your like? We're gonna get into the nuts and bolts because I know people want to know, because you obviously you're Brandon the closer here, so you know people need to know what you're doing. So, what are some marketing channels that are working well for you, man?
Cold calling. Cold calling is there's number one marketing channel as of now. At first I was doing a lot direct mail, handwritten postcards, things like that. But you can only do so much of it. You can only scale with it. It took me like 3 hours to do 100 postcards. I was like, no, I gotta.
So you were actually
writing them out. Yeah, wow. That has to be another way, man. Now, I mean, I didn't have a lot of money, so I couldn't, drop $500 every month to send out 1,000 postcards and things like that. I gotta be resourceful and use what I had, and I made it happen. And then once built up a couple bucks, and just started calling myself, which was scary, by the way. It's a very big fear of getting told no on the phone live, but I knew I was only one deal away. I was one no closer to a yes, and then eventually got a deal from calling, and then now we ended up expanding to somebody else calls for us, a VA, essentially a VA virtual assistant from the Philippines is doing the calls for us, and that's all we do as of now. And then we just send direct mail to the ones that we can't get a hold of, just to be consistent on that. But that's pretty much what we do.
So you fine-tune the process by figuring out yourself, and then you delegated, and now you pay a cold caller, what, $20 an hour? Is that what they cost, or how
much? More like $4 an hour.
Wow, so that's crazy. So you have somebody calling for $4 an hour who's bringing you deals that you're able to make money on. That's incredible, man.
Yeah,
it works
for sure.
So talk to me about, like, because you mentioned this before we hopped on today, just the power of partnerships.
Yeah, partnerships are beautiful. I love them, man. I'll do them over and over and over again, and I'll never stop. I was telling Mike before we started, I was like, over the weekend, I was on vacation, just thinking back, kind of how far I've come, and I was like, man, the most amount of money I've made has been with partnering up with you, other local wholesalers, or in my partner, Mauricio, that we just teamed up 6 months ago. Like, I think I've only done 3 deals by myself, and the rest we're all JVing and partnering up on. I was like, holy crap, it's insane. I don't think people understand the power of partnering up. It definitely speeds up your progress exponentially, for sure, in my opinion.
100%. I will always say that some portion of a deal is better than no portion of a deal, because we run into a lot of our competitors. We don't really look at it like that in this, at least I don't.
Right.
Yes, competition, there's a lot of competition, but if you can have people coming to you, bringing you deals, or you can collaborate on a deal that you may be looking at with somebody else, like, at the end of the day, all of us are going to be better ahead.
Yeah,
and so
for sure.
That's awesome, man. So this section of the show, we're going to talk about just like a deal and go into the deep dive of the deal. And so let's dive into one that you're working on maybe right now, like whether it's a big juicy deal or just a deal that you want to talk about here. Kind of tell me, like, where the lead came from and what obstacles that you may be facing, and then we'll get to the revenue piece of it.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm gonna start. I'll say 2, because one, like a smaller one. Came from a cold caller. The guy actually was a really, really mean guy. Didn't sound like a seller at all, man. Like, he was just really rude, and he was in my follow-ups, and I was like, man, I listened to the voice, and I was like, man, this guy doesn't even sound interested. But I was like, whatever. Something in me told him, give him a call, see what happened. I was like, you know what? I gave him a call. The guy was super rude, man. I had to get to his level. Like, I was being rude back. And I was like ready to like hang up the phone and walk away. I didn't really care. I was like, this guy's not gonna, sell his house. And he did. He actually wanted to, man. He like, I think he liked that I was being like how he was. And he was like, no, wait, I do want to sell. I do want to sell. And that was actually my first uh, uh, contract signed over the phone, virtually without even.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So you didn't see the house or nothing, and you got
Nope.
him to sell the house to you.
Yeah, I just threw out an offer, like a lowball offer. He told me to make an offer, and I was like, 10 grand. And he was like, no, I can't do that. I need to be, I think he said like 45. And I was like, oh crap, he actually isn't far apart where we need to be. So I started talking about the property. His daughter lives there, and I guess they don't have the best relationship. And he actually going through some tough things as far as he lives like somewhere in Iowa, like a couple hours away, like 5 hours away or so. And he's making no money on this property. His daughter's living there rent free, and he was behind on taxes. And I was like, well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, for us to get this property, we need to be at this price. I offered him 30,000, and he accepted it right away. He was like, okay. And I was like, oh, what? I was like, well, I couldn't even believe it, man. I kind of like choked. I kind of almost like negotiated my own self. Like, you sure?
So I bet you there's a handful of people. Am I echoing, Brandon?
No, you sound good, man.
Okay, good. I bet there's a handful of people who maybe would have just passed on that lead or maybe hung up on it, because when we're talking to a lot of people, we get a lot of angry sellers. And I was actually telling my business partner this morning that there's a guy who called in, basically said, this is my price. If you don't like it, then, go kick sand.
Really?
And I was kind of afraid to call him back. It was one of those calls where I was, nervous. I'm like, man, this guy's going to chew me one. I'm not going to be, this is not wasting my time. I got back to him, and he's just going through a lot in his life. And I think the types of sellers that we deal with and work with, I shouldn't say deal with, but the type of sellers we work with have a lot of stress going on in their life. Yeah. And sometimes we just have to be a voice or a soundboard to listen to them vent. And I think in this case, I was willing to listen to it. You were willing to listen to him, and it got you through the door. Whereas many other people, they wouldn't have even.
Yeah, and I think that's why, because he's had that property for a long time, and he says many people have called him, and he's just sick and tired of it. And I was like, man, I got to set myself apart from these other guys, and I just matched his tone and matched his energy, and it worked out, I guess. And that taught me a lesson. I was like, man, you gotta make sure you call everybody back and make an offer on everybody, like, because you just never know what could happen. Like, that really taught me a lesson for sure, man. Like, you just gotta just do it and just see what happens.
Fantastic. So how much are you gonna make on that deal?
That was a quick $5K assignment fee. Got it sold like the next day. Found a buyer looking for it. I think we had it for 30. We asked 40, and somebody out for 35, and we just got it done for the sake of the end buyer. He was a smooth guy to work with. We sold him many properties, and just to get it done and make sure we can perform on this guy who really needs the money.
That's awesome. Sometimes that's what you got to do. And hey, I don't think too many people would argue that 5,000 is not bad for maybe a couple hours of your time.
No, man, I don't think even hours. I think all said and done, man, I think it was like a 15-minute phone call from start to finish, as far as getting to know him, making an offer, getting it all signed live, to making a quick phone call to my buyer, which was like 5 minutes, and then the walkthrough on the weekend, which was like probably like an hour and a half in total time, 5K.
That's insane. That's beautiful. So, like a bigger, juicier deal. Talk to me about the one you have going on now that you have assigned. And if you don't mind.
Right. No, of course. So this lead came in from our cold caller as well. He was an older gentleman, old guy who lives in a huge 2,000 square foot house, man. Like, and he's like 80 years old. His wife has dementia. She's in a nursing home, and he's just kind of just sad, depressed, and wanting to downsize and just, I think, get closer to his wife. And this is an area that we typically don't deal with. Not that we don't try to, but we usually deal with. My nature is more so houses in the hood per se, right? In the hood, houses that typically aren't for investors, that we just sell to people who have mattress money. So this probably was like a legit in a high demand area, and we were like, dude, we got to hop on it. The ARVs were crazy. Like, the numbers were insane. What he was asking for wasn't that far off, man. Like, we were like right there. And I think we ended up giving him what he was asking for it, which was like 87,000. Then and there at the appointment, we went there with intentions of buying and made him an offer. He liked it. Well, we tried to negotiate, but he was a tough old man. He was like, I got to talk with the wife. And I was like, your wife can't even make decisions by herself. So he was kind of trying to blow us off. And we're like, man, we're losing an opportunity. We're like, you know what? If we can do this price, we can move forward. Sure enough, he signed. And again, found a buyer the next day, walked through it, and got it sold for exactly what we were asking for, which was 108.5, which
So
is like
what's the spread?
21,500 assignment fee.
That's insane. Congratulations.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. I never thought I would see those numbers, man. It was insane.
Hey, when you see a check like that, like it makes you realize that going to work full time, it just doesn't make as much sense. You know, I understand you gotta start somewhere, but holy cow, that's life changing.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, more in depth, I don't the assignment is just a cherry on top, in my opinion. I think the reason what sets me and my partner and I, Mauricio, aside is that we truly care about the person, because this is a people's game. Taking care of their needs, making sure they're taken care of. For one, you take care of them, they'll sign whatever price you give them. Second, you get a nice payday from the result of the problem you solve, which is really what it is. We're problem solvers, is what we are. And when you truly care about a person, everything else will line up itself accordingly.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better. So throughout your journey, like, sometimes we all have kind of a breakthrough. Was there any moment, like, throughout this journey? Obviously, you got your first deal 7 months in, but do you remember like a specific moment where things really just started to clicking and you started to get more consistent deal flow, maybe instead of just like one every other month, like more like 1 to 2 to 3 every month?
That was recently, man. When I partnered up with my partner Mauricio 6 months ago, in late May. That's when late May to today is when things have really clicked in our business, man. Like, I think from May to now we've done like, I think 10 consecutive, like 2 a month. Yeah, so 2 or 3 a month since then. And we're like, oh crap, now we're instead of winging it everything, now we're trying to shift everything like a business, like making sure we're tracking everything, like how many calls does it take us to get a lead, how many leads does it take us to get a contract, and like how many contracts do we need to get to, and how many of them actually close, things in that nature. Like, we're actually starting to become a business, and actually, like, I think in my opinion, I was like, man, we grow so fast that when we partnered up, we expected it, 3 months we'll get a deal, we'll be ready, we have reserves. But we started getting deals like at the bat, like the second week we partnered up, started taking action, like boom, bam, bam, bam. We're like, holy crap, what do we do now? We didn't know what to do. We were so confused, but it was a good problem to have, right?
It's a great problem. And a lot of people, they're afraid of partnerships, and there's partnerships that go great, and there's partnerships that go wrong. So, like, what's important about a partnership for you that you think has been a good mix for you and Mauricio?
What was it? Sorry, I think you cut out, bro. What was that again?
What can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
What was a beneficial thing, or what would be something that you would see as a positive, or just some light you can shed maybe on a partnership in general? Because there's a lot of fear in partnerships.
Right. Yeah. I think me and Mauricio were so different that it's amazing, because he has his strengths and I have my strengths, and I think we cancel each other out in a good way. That it was like a no-brainer. But we actually did a couple deals before we actually partnered up. We kind of knew each other. We live in the same apartment complex, and all we talk is real estate. But it really didn't become official until we went to a seminar together in Texas, and we just kept asking around, like, hey, how to scale, what's the next steps, things like that. And everybody just kept saying, you two, partner up. And we're like kind of confused. What do they mean by that? And then we kind of just sat down and talked about it. And we're like, dude, like, it makes sense. Me and you, we both love it. We both have the same, drive, same passion. And you're good at some things and I'm good at some things. Like, dude, why not just combine the two? And sure enough, we did. And right away started seeing results. Like, it's amazing. Like, I will say, as far as partnership, like, truly, like, get a deal or two and with somebody, just feeling marriage, to make sure you want somebody you want to get married, because it's a marriage, man. Like, it's what it is, in my opinion. Like, you got to make sure you guys are like proper communication and everything like that, and make sure this is a guy you want to be with. gal or a gal for the next, until, for the rest of your career in the business. And that's what we did. And we're like, you know what? We worked together for about like 6 months doing some deals before we partnered up. We're like, you know what? I think we're a good match, man. I mean, I wouldn't want to work with nobody else besides you. And we just teamed up and closed more deals ever since.
Absolutely. That's great points, man, for sure. What does the future hold for Turbo Home Buyers and for Brandon, the closer?
What was that? Yeah, I think you broke a little bit again, bro.
What does the future hold for Turbo Home Buyers and Brandon, the closer?
Man, the sky's the limit, brother, man. Like, we're looking to close the year strong with, me and my partner, Turbo Home Buyers in general. Like, we're shooting to make 150K in revenue at the end of the year. Close if we're shooting for like as high as we can. Like, our goals went from like here to like, and it kept growing every time we getting a deal. We're like, holy crap, we just keep upping it up. I mean, we're making progress faster than what we thought. But as far as 2021, man, we're looking to start acquiring some deals ourselves. As far as like actually doing some flips and hotels ourselves, as far as 2021, and acquiring some rentals that way, and doing some more creative financing. So that's kind of what we have planned for 2021.
Well, man, and I think that's a natural progression for a lot of people, is kind of getting that cash as a wholesaler and then starting to use that cash to build wealth through passive income and real rentals. And creative finance, beautiful too. Awesome, man. So that's really all I have for you for now. The one last thing I want to touch on, though, is like, just what is one last thought, piece of advice that you'd leave listeners with?
Man, I feel like if anybody listening today, man, if you're just getting started, or just maybe this be the first time listening to wholesaling in general, what it is, like, if you're truly interested in it, just go after it, man. Like, don't even doubt yourself, just do it if you really believe in it. And I will say, you have to be really obsessed with it, man, because there's information out there. All the information is free out there, man, because you many stories, and Michael can tell you this. I mean, he paid a lot of money to learn the business, man. And I tell myself, free YouTube, man. It's all free, because I'm younger than Michael, so I'm more of a that young millennial who YouTubes everything, right? And I learned out YouTube University. It was free $3.99, and I have no debt to my name, man. Thank God. Just if you're truly obsessed, you'll find a way no matter what. Not being scared to take action, and not being afraid to ask for help, man. Like, because I don't think I would be where I am today if it wasn't, reaching out to Michael, meeting my business partner Mauricio, and all the other ventures I've done throughout my career. To be honest, like, that just kind of, and I think about this question when I was looking at it. I was like, man, it's hard, because when I think back at it, it's like, man, what did I do exactly? Or what would I have liked to be gotten told throughout the journey? And it's tough, man. Like, nobody can give you the grind. You gotta have that grind, and you gotta just truly believe in yourself, and really go after it, man. And just really believe in your vision, and just take massive imperfect action, because you're never gonna be perfect. Don't shoot for perfect, and just shoot for baby steps instead of baby steps, and you'll be fine.
That's just beautiful. Massive imperfect action, right?
Yeah.
All right. Where can people learn more about you, Brandon?
You can reach. I'm active on Facebook at Brandon Lopez, and Instagram Brandon Flips Houses. I respond to pretty much everybody. I get quite a few people hitting me up, just kind of like asking for questions and things like that. And I love helping people, man. So, speaking of help people, I mean, I helped my man Jonathan out, just because I got helped so much. I was like, man, I gotta return the favor, man. I got there's a handful of people, man. Jonathan, he's my brother, man. Keith and Mauricio, that's my business partner, man. These are all guys that I helped get their first deals, even though I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have that. I didn't have like one or two deals more than these guys, but I think everybody deserves success, man. Everybody deserves a chance, and if you truly want it, people will be there to help you and give you a hand. Honestly.
Beautiful. Go give him a shout out. Love it. All right, Brandon. That's all for now, buddy. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man. No, thank you for having me here, Michael. It was an honor, man.
For sure. All right. We'll catch you guys next time.
Take it easy. Peace.